So today we're talking all about tips for transitioning to teaching online.
Showing up online it's new for people, and if you haven't done it before, I just want you to know it's okay to feel uncomfortable. I fought doing it for years. In fact, we only started building online when we decided to start coming to the Philippines. We needed a way to communicate with our growing community in the Philippines, and we couldn't be there all the time. So over the past 2 years, it's something Evan and I have started doing, and we are here to share some of our tips with you guys. So the first thing we're going to talk about is lighting. One of the things about being online that you don't have to think about really when you're teaching a class in person is making sure that the environment looks bright. You wouldn't teach a class in a dark room. That would feel uncomfortable. It would make your guests feel uncomfortable. You might feel uncomfortable. And so lighting, believe it or not, subconsciously, it's more inviting to the eye if they're scrolling on Facebook or scrolling on Instagram. You guys, it's not about looking beautiful at all. It's about how much of a clear experience can the viewer have while watching you online. So lighting was actually totally confusing for Evan and I. And we looked up how to do lighting and all this stuff. And finally, his cousin, who's a photographer, he said, lighting is very simple. You just have to face the light. So Evan has some examples of the difference between facing the light and not facing the light.
So here, I'll show you here. Right now, we are facing the light, right? So there are overhead lights pointed at us, just like the lights that you would have in your house. But if you see here, and if I switch my camera here, and then I just did it from here, you see how dark I'll be. It's sitting in the exact same spot, right? But I just go here, and we always make sure that we sit with the light on us, and then it's much brighter with the light on us. So that's one tip for you guys. Just point the light at you. And then in terms of being a little bit, just appropriate for teaching online, if you were to teach in a Zoom class, usually never take a Zoom call from your bed. So if you're lying down in your bed, that's not the kind of class we're trying to teach, right? So it's a little bit inappropriate for teaching from your bed, and especially not lying down with a pillow right behind you. Don't do that. So, and then I have some ideas about when you take a picture before you post it on Instagram or social media or Facebook at all. There's ways that you could brighten up the picture. So if you just, I'll show you a couple examples. I just took a picture, and then I turned the brightness all the way up, and you can see the difference. And then a second one, I took a picture, and then we have an app. You just can download an app called A Color Story.
Yeah, our favorite, Evan, neither Evan nor I are artistic at all. So we need the apps to do all the work for us. So our favorite editing app for photos is A Color Story. It's A Color Story, 3 different words.
Okay, so I'll show you some pictures of, so here, the first one is just a picture of me and some of my friends around Christmas, right? And then all I did was I brightened it up, boom, and then you could see way more just from brightening. I'm the only one who's, I guess, Filipino, so it's I'm real dark in the back until you brighten me up. And then the second one is, and this picture by itself, it looks bright, it looks good, but then I put it in Color Story and just chose one of our basic settings, and then now it looks much brighter just because the Color Story app. Right, so, and those are just the first 4 I could find.
It literally takes 10 seconds to edit a photo. We're not talking about having to pay for Photoshop or anything like that. So the app is very user-friendly. So Joy Lee says, I use a cheap ring light that you only clip on your camera lens. It does the job for me and adds brightness in addition to the natural and ceiling lights.
Yeah.
Totally. We love those rings. They work really well, especially for your phone. So the next part I just want to share with you guys is a little bit around the beauty of sharing online. So showing up in an online space, whether you realize it or not, probably 90% of your warm market is already hanging out online. And probably 99% of your cold market, people that you haven't met yet, they're hanging out online. I once had Kim Camuso. She is Citrine and Sage on Instagram. She's a really successful business in doTERRA. She's Blue Diamond. She once said to me, well, online is the modern day watering hole, which like 150 years ago, people used to gather around the watering hole to get water. And that's where a lot of community chatter started. And the truth of the matter is we don't have to go out, and there's no central space that we would see our community every single day anymore. But there is this place that's online that everybody is hanging out in. And so what you can do online, what you can leverage online is you can leverage your time. It's not hard you don't have to pick up the phone and talk to every one of your leads or every one of your customers every day. In fact, I would bet they wouldn't want you to do that. They wouldn't, even if you want to talk to everybody every day, they wouldn't want to have to do that with you. But if you just come in and drop like a 5-minute video on Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is that you like to hang out, they can consume that content in whatever time frame is convenient for them. Or they can choose not to consume it. It's up to them. I personally love the online space because I love to show up and deliver high value information to people. I love the feeling of sharing information, but I also love the feeling of allowing people to consume that in whatever time fashion they desire. So the people that end up signing up with us online, they might not catch my videos the day I post them. But what I find is they send me a message after maybe a month later, they're sitting and they're binge watching videos that I've posted over a period of however long I've been online. And after they've binge watched the videos, then they're sending me a message like, hey, I want to order this, 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 and this. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a long period of time where you can get those leveraged results with your cold market. But your warm market, I think you'll find that people start coming to your classes. They start sending you messages. You're now top of mind for them.
So that talks a little bit about so we had one question on Facebook about what to do if people have bad internet, right? And this is common in the Philippines that some people have bad internet. And I think Melissa spoke to that a little bit in that if they have bad internet and they can't join live on a Zoom call, what you can do is you can send them a Facebook or a video that you recorded yourself on Facebook Messenger for them to consume at their own time when they do have good internet, right? So in a class, there are just 3 basic things that you teach in any class, right? What essential oils are, how to use them, and then what makes doTERRA different, right? That's really basic. And then after that, we could talk about how to get started with oils. That would be like a number 4 thing, or like how to use the top 10. But those can be done more like an in-person. If you're talking about how to get started, that would be more of something you talk to them on Facebook Messenger about. But those 3 things, what oils are, how to use them, and what makes doTERRA different, there are videos on YouTube that you could just check on YouTube and then send them the link and then tell them, okay, after you watch this first one, let's talk again maybe tomorrow. And then you could message them in the morning. Did you get to watch that last video? Right? And you just want to make sure that you don't give them all the videos. You just give them one at a time. Give them one and then you talk to them. And you give them one and you talk to them just to make sure that you have this rapport with them so they're actually getting through the videos.
The last thing I just want to share, I have often heard the concern, the challenge, not just here in the Philippines. I want you guys to know this is a global challenge in any business. I'm inviting people, but nobody's coming to my class. Have you ever felt that? Anybody on the call ever? Give me a raise of hands. Okay, I want you to know I have taught probably over 50 classes where nobody has showed up, okay? And I'm still here. It's part of the process. I just want you to know that. But do you know how you can help more people come to your class? I have a really important tip for you. This will change everything. You start teaching the class to them before they come to the class. So what that means is before you've sent the invitation to them, they've said they want to come, but you continue to show up in the social media platform that they hang out in, and you're just dropping seeds, helping them along the way, sparking their interest, sparking their curiosity, helping them to get more excited to come to the class. That's one thing. And then you can get more people to come to your class by doing the same thing I just said. You can spark the curiosity, you can spark the interest in your audience by showing up and posting videos, posting product posts. I have a hot tip too for you guys about posts. We're gonna get into this. People do not respond as well to static posts as they do to videos. This is actually proven. You can look this statistic up online. I don't do videos all the time, but I do alternate. Like I'll do like 3 static posts. Static posts is just like a still frame, like a picture, like Evan showed you guys of the oils a minute ago. You can do posts like that, but you have to bring in video. It's 2020. Video is the future. People are paying attention to video and audio. And another thing, if you show up and you've got your water bottle in hand and you're literally dropping the drop in, you're showing people before you even give them an invitation or before they even come to the class, you're showing them the power of doTERRA. Oh my God, I didn't know you could drink essential oils. Oh my gosh, what is this spray bottle that she's making right now? People love to watch other people make things or show them how to do things. Like we love to learn as human beings. We love stories. So video is such a great medium for sharing those things.
Yeah, I mean, some people on here, I know some people on here do soap making classes. If you did a video of you making the soap, that would be gold.
Totally. I mean, we don't do soap making. I am not a good homemaker like that at all. But if I did, we would do those videos all the time because people get so excited when they watch do-it-yourself videos.
But we have done videos of making liquid soap, that like the hand sanitizer, or like adding some oils to the hand sanitizer, or your surface spray, like putting your surface spray together. And some of those videos, they get a ton of views.
So the thing about online, the biggest message to really remember here is if you have a business, you have to market that business. I think that people shy away from that phrase of marketing. I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not into sales. The truth of the matter is that's up to you to change your perspective on that. I have learned how to love marketing. I do love it. And the way I've been able to change my mindset around that is I love to show people the value of what I offer, because that's really what marketing is. It's showing the value, especially with a product like doTERRA, because it is an investment for people to be able to purchase these oils. They do need to understand why they'd want to spend $8,500 for a kit before they come to a class usually. Yeah. So that's the beauty of social media, you guys, is you can show up online and having done all of that marketing in advance, they can show up ready to buy at your class. Yeah, so
it's like watching a video trailer, right? It's like watching a trailer for a movie, but usually what we do in the online space is that you pretty much show the whole movie, right? You show little pieces of the whole movie. And then if they want to see all of it together, if they have any questions about how like little breaks in it, then you would explain that in the class, because some people still want to be in the online class. But I mean, we have also closed sales with people not even showing up to the class, only watching the the trailer videos.
They register for the class, they want to come, traffic is an issue, the babysitter canceled. But because they had all that education, they're like, yeah, I was going to buy anyway. Send me the link, you know?
Okay, so that is another thing that I wanted to talk about, is that 90% of our sales from teaching online classes do not happen in the class. Mm-hmm. Maybe we teach a whole 1 hour class. At the end of the class, I say, okay, here's ways you can get the oils. And I do that close for about like five minutes, right? Which is even a long close, right? 5 to 7 minutes, I'm doing my close. Okay, here's the benefits of getting started with doTERRA. You get the wholesale kit. Even that, maybe 1 or 2 people online might click, okay, I'll raise my hand, put a Y in the chat box. Okay, I want to get started. But most of it happens when you follow up, you send a follow-up email. Okay, how'd you like the class? Okay, here's a video of the whole class yesterday, just in case you missed some of it, right? And then yesterday we talked about Zendecrine. Here, let me get a little deeper into Zendecrine. Here's another video I have about Zendecrine. Let me know. And then that's where all the sales happen, with the follow-up. So it is very important that to be successful online and to be successful at all, online or offline, you must follow up.
Yeah, the fortune is in the follow-up. Tiffany Peterson is a great coach for doTERRA Wellness Advocates. She's got great videos on following up.
Okay, but I have one question for you guys. Have you guys made any videos on social media or Instagram? And then what did you do in those videos? If maybe you could give us all ideas about what we could do in the future in the videos. Like we said, we've made the surface cleaner, we made hand sanitizer. One of the girls on our team here has made inhalers for your nose online, and then a mask spray, stuff like that. So if you guys have any tips for us, we would all love to learn together.
I wanted to transition. One of our leaders, Lynn, I have been talking about being online for like, when did we meet each other? Like
2 years ago?
A year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And finally, with being on quarantine, she started to be online more. Lynn, do you want to share how that's changed for you
how the transition online has changed?
So this transition is not easy at all because I think the culture of Filipinos is actually not really forgiving an online platform. But for me, I was thinking about how can I really serve more people when I'm working at home, and the only media or the only way that I can show up more is doing online. So that's really my calling at that time. So ever since I've been making videos, online videos, it gets easier. Of course, it's challenging, of course, because at home we are surrounded by people, the family, the noise. So it's really important to show up at the right time, looking at the right time, looking at what specific time of the day you can do your online, where there's quiet, where there's nice lighting, and when you can really show up really comfortable. So it's not easy at all, but when you start doing it, I think you will we will have more people online showing doTERRA, especially in the Philippines.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. So that one thing Lynn said was that it's not easy, and I mean that is one thing that I kind of lead with when I'm finding leaders in the Philippines, that building doTERRA is hard, and it's going to take a long time, right? And so, do you still want to do it, right? Because many people, like, if I do a business presentation, I'd say like 90% of the people say, I want to learn. I say, okay, well, let me first start and tell you about how hard it is and how long it's going to take. And they say, okay, cool. And then that turns down to 90%, down to the few that will stick with me for 2 to 3 years and build something really big to help the whole Filipino market.
Okay, so we're going to jump into talking about how to nurture your warm market. We've already shared a couple of tips with you guys. One thing that is brand new, doTERRA just released this. It's free. It's called social.doTERRA. You can go into doTERRA's website and just search social.doTERRA. So what's so cool about that that new platform is they actually create images for you. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a free option, but even if you upgrade, it's like 1,500 for the whole year if you upgrade. Mm-hmm. I think the upgrade option is only necessary if you have more than 2 social accounts. But they have beautiful images there. Now, we already talked about the need to infuse your personal touch onto that post. So you're typing, like when you share that post, you're sharing a personal story about that oil or putting your own personal spin on the information. I don't recommend that you use the generic copy in the post that they share. Yeah. And then after you do a couple of posts like that, where it's just still photo, then you also infuse your personal touch by doing video as well.
Even if I took the exact same photo as they have in the stock photos with my own camera, it has more interaction and more engagement than if I only do their stock photo. But I mean, as much as possible, try to customize to yourself.
Joy Lee, this is a program that doTERRA has on their website.
It's not a Facebook group. Social.doTERRA it's connected to your doTERRA account, where they have things that you could post on social?
The next tip for posting online, and this is really talking to your warm market, is decide who you want to talk to.
Right. For at least for each message, you should decide.
So one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my professional world is my professional career, not just in doTERRA, but in my business before doTERRA, was I wanted to talk to everybody. I always felt like, well, oils are for everybody. So I'm not going to talk to one particular person. But when you do that, you shoot too broad, and then the information you share doesn't land on anybody. For me, like we call these avatars. My avatar is a woman who's 35 years old, has hormone imbalance. She's tired. She doesn't sleep enough. She wants to feel young, look youthful again. That's the woman who I post for. And so all of my content, like let's say I'm going to share rose oil. I'm not going to talk about how rose oil smells good. I'm going to talk about how rose oil balances hormones and keeps your skin looking clear and even. It gets rid of red spots on your skin. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to say about rose oil. Now, Evan's not going to say the same thing about rose oil. Like if Evan's posting about rose oil.
No. So my avatar is kind of like opposite of my wife's. Mine is a 40-year-old or in their 40s male business owner with entrepreneurial experience that is into natural things and then into doing like natural activities, right? So active male. I mean, if I was to talk about rose oil, I would talk about it. There's vanity is also in my avatars because your avatar is a lot like yourself, right? So for rose oil, I would talk about how you could put it on your skin. I could talk about how you could put a drop in water.
Or in bathtubs, yeah.
Or in bathtubs,
for muscle recovery.
And then I would talk about, for my avatar, I would even talk about price and talk about how much markup you could get if you sold it, and then how you get extra benefits for the over the 200 PV if it's in a month.
The message here for creating content is fall in love with sharing information. Fall in love with adding value to your community. If you can fall in love with that, this is going to be so joyful for you.
Yeah, and if you're not in love with sharing education and sharing oils, you may be on the wrong call. Right?
Okay, so all of this is leading into creating the content, but now you have to be able to teach a class that's super like awesome online. And we have really struggled to learn how to do this. In fact, we even have taken the time to work with Dr. Melissa Esguerra and Alex Dunks. They are some of the largest, they have one of the largest online businesses in doTERRA. And we've like driven out to see them and talk to them and pick their brains. So we're going to share with you guys some of the tips that they shared with us and how to make a Zoom meeting really engaging, how to get people through the computer. And so Evan and I, this did not come naturally to us at all. Like I just said, we had to go get some coaching on it, but we shared like a couple of these tips with one of our leaders who's on the call. Her name is Dre. And this woman taught like a killer Zoom class, and she just started doing it. I think
she did one today too, right?
The first one was 3 weeks ago. You did one today, Dre. Dre, will you share with us just a couple of tips on how to have a stellar Zoom class?
We did one yesterday, so we did it with the team, and I think what's important there is invite people because you have the intention to really help them with something. And for me, it's how the dynamics of working with your team as well. So we each had a backup. We all know about the internet problem with the Philippines, so we always had someone to really back up in terms of how we present, and it's to do it naturally as if you were talking to someone just in front of you.
Okay, cool. So, you talked about if you're going to transition to have someone else speak, you would have like a backup. Like, for example, like if I was going to ask Dre a question and maybe her internet was bad at the time, then I would just ask it to Lynn instead. But are there any other particular things to the Philippine market that you learned from teaching online?
It's more of really getting to inject each and every information that you can extend to the oils that you're talking about. and to really enjoy, because people get a sense if you're not enjoying or you're feeling uncomfortable in the class. So it's really enjoying, smiling, and then welcoming everyone, and to really have that natural knack for teaching people. I mean, people feel that on the other side of the screen as well.
Oh, so they feel your joy, they feel your happiness, and they feel your ease through the screen. Okay.
Yes.
So when I was eavesdropping on one of Dre's classes, I was sitting outside the camera and I was listening to her and Lynn and a couple other women on the call today that were co-teaching together. They were co-teaching with 4 people. So that's something to think about too, like having the backup, but it's fun to pass the mic to team members as well. But each of these women had great stories. So as they're teaching, they're sharing the information, how to use On Guard, the different examples. And then before you move on to the next oil, you share a story, like an example. That was another thing too. And then I just had something else. Oh, the follow-up. So when you close the class, it's almost like, Dre, when you finish the Zoom class, do you have people who sign up right then and there, like you would at an in-person class? Like, or do you find you have to send them a message after or call
and
them?
then what does that follow-up look like in the Philippines? Because Dre is in Cebu, right? So what does that follow-up look like in the Philippines? Like, would you call them? What would you do?
Well, right now my mode of communication with them is through a text message, or I do Facebook Messenger or a Viber message to them. So that's how we communicate. So it's normal for Filipinos to really reach out through these channels, messages. I did have a sign up from our class yesterday, and she was my friend. So yeah, she was interested in natural things and she wanted to try it. For the other classes that we have, we do follow up. So it's always a work in progress to talk to people and then ask them again if they are interested to purchase the oils later on. But it's really just talking to your friend and then following through. So asking them also for an opinion, how they found the class, what they would like to learn as well. That's applicable to them.
Oh, is that before the class? What they would like to learn before the class?
Yes, we ask them. And in the succeeding classes, we also ask for opinion from others, what they would like to learn. Because the class for us is a platform to teach about the oils and how it can have a million uses.
That's a really good tip. Finding out what they want to hear about before the class.
Yeah.
And then after the class, what other topics do you want to hear from us about? Because that makes them more excited to attend.
And attend the next class too.
Yeah, to attend. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I think that we've covered, oh my gosh, we have so much to share, but we can't share all of this with you guys. There's just so much. We can go to. Okay, this is, I think, where people get a little tripped up online. They do a lot of posts and then they just blast their invitation, or they only send out the invitation online. So it's really important that you do a combination of both. There's a book called Jab, 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 like a boxing, jab, 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 right hook. The jabs are meant to be information, serving, 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 and then the right hook is the ask. So your invitation to come to a class, the prompt, the call to action, that's the right hook. That's the jab. You will get way more people to say yes to your invitation if you've shown up in advance with product posts, with videos, adding value, adding value, adding value, inviting to the class. When you're creating your plan for being online, just remember the sharing is just as important as inviting. PIPES, P-I-P-E-S, stands for prepare, invite, present, enroll, support. Unfortunately, PIPES does not include sharing. So I always say that PIPES has a silent S right after the first P. So it's preparing, sharing, inviting, presenting, enrolling, supporting. You cannot just blast out invitations and think you're going to get results online.
Oh, you definitely cannot. When you see an invitation, you can't just write your friend's name in the comments and then hopefully that your friend will read the comment. Like that is really broad.
Every invitation that you do online in a broadcast format, like a post, it has to also be followed up with the personal one-on-one invitations. We've had to go through this on our team for a long time before people started to understand you cannot just do blast posting for invitations. There has to be the personal connection, the connecting with your warm market.
Yeah, and so can you elaborate on that a little bit, Dre? Like how, because you've had a lot of people in your online classes. What did you do to reach out to them before? I mean, you may have already told us a little bit, but how did you make sure that they were there?
I do the posts prior to the class itself. I do product posts. I also do video and how I can use doTERRA in my daily life. So it's not just about inviting them to class, but also in between trying to put in information that I'm using the oils in everyday life. And aside from that, I also try to get to know them, what they're doing right now, or what they're feeling right now, or what they're up to right now. And then if this is aligned to what the class is, and then I get to talk to them in social media, and then I invite them.
Perfect. And that is a big thing about social media. Like a lot of people on social media, they use it as a platform to kind of like almost like counseling. Like they just vent like what's going on. Oh my God, my son is coughing. They tell you stories that the oils can fill in like as answers to all of their questions. So when you see people post about I don't know, maybe teenage acne or something, maybe you could you comment to them, would you be open to trying something natural? And then that just gets everything started, right? So to recap, finding new people or expanding your warm market or to reach out to your cold market happens in the posting, right? So post educational stuff on both video and still photos, right? And then also maybe photos or videos of you using the product, right? And then once you have people and they've moved a little closer from cold to warm, and they moved a little closer to you, then you reach out to them via some sort of Facebook Messenger or Viber or text, or even if you wanted to call and talk to them on the phone, right? And then when you teach the class, that's all the way close, you teach the class in Zoom, right? And then the way you get them, you make sure in Zoom that you bring the energy, you make sure take a shower and comb your hair before, and then engage with them, interact with them through the chat. And then like that, like layers of an onion, we just moved all the way into the class, and then we move all the way back out, where it's like now after the class, you reach out again via Viber or message or text or call or whatever. And then we just keep on moving in and out like that. Once the oils do their magic, and once the oils got them, then they know how to make the order on their own. And then that's a whole different.
Oh, how did you use that breathe? Oh my gosh, my friend Olga just taught me how to do that. Check out her Instagram. And before you know it, you're talking to a referral from somebody. And then that starts to cascade down and down and down and down. Know that social media building your business online, it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen when you stay consistent. Mm-hmm. Just like any type of business. You know, this isn't a get rich quick scheme, but doTERRA is a get rich slow business. And you can leverage your time, and you can speed that up actually if you do show up consistently online.
So one more benefit of the online space though is the posts don't go to sleep, right? So there is no close of Instagram and Facebook. Worldwide, it's open 24/7, 365 days a year. So there will be no pandemic that closes Facebook or Instagram. It will always be open, and people will always be consuming information. We want to answer any questions that you have.
Your camera or on your computer looks really good. I just want to show you what mine looks like it looks like it's at your eye level, but a lot of people are teaching like this, and you're looking up their nose and looking at
yes.
But it looked to me like it's almost at your eye level, and I really enjoyed just watching you guys. You're a cute couple, so I like looking at you anyway. But
so yeah, that's a good point, Michael. Eye level or
above,
a little bit above.
Yeah.
This is like more aesthetically pleasing for, like, I have a big nose. This is more aesthetically pleasing is when your camera is at an angle a little bit. In fact, I can see that one of the gals here, Ariane Dizon, she has a great picture here on her profile. I hope you don't mind me calling you out, Ariane. She has the camera tilted up like that. That's actually such a great way to take photos because you can see the background. Her lighting is really great, but she's got the camera tilt down.
So, I mean, that one thing about men or anyone working in doTERRA is you have to learn how to work with women, right? Because there are many women in doTERRA. So I've learned this myself from any time someone says like, can someone take a picture? Someone take a picture? Hey, Evan, can you take a picture of all the women? And then I took this angle. Okay, here, I'll take a picture. And they say, oh, whoa. And so they teach you right away. If you try to take a picture of like 7 presidential diamonds, that will teach you right away. Whoa. Hold it up. And then take the angle down. So to make yourself look better, you would want to either be eye level or above.
Okay, Joy Lee has a great question. She says, do you use the paid Zoom app? And the answer is yes. You don't have to. There is a free option. The free option allows you to have meetings for 40 minutes. So you better be really good at doing a class in 30 minutes and closing in a period of 10 minutes. So you can use the free version, of course. I did that for a long time, but once we started teaching classes online, I just didn't like feeling rushed. And if I was in a conversation with somebody at the end, if I was doing a one-on-one, for example, I hated asking them to sign back in. And the cost of it is less than 1,000 pesos. It's $15, so it's like 800 pesos per month. Less than that.
The limit has been lifted during the lockdown.
Oh,
COVID.
cool.
Oh, okay, so right now it's free. That's awesome.
Yeah, so at about 30 minutes, they say, we've given you more time. Thanks for using Zoom or something.
Oh
like
my
Nice.
gosh, that's awesome.
Nice.
For one-on-ones. Okay.
Yeah, there's times we use Zoom as just our meeting room where we have this meeting, the next meeting will pop in, and then these people leave, and then the next meeting pops in, so we just sit. But
so thank you for asking this question, Mark. They asked about what's our setup for a microphone. I wish we could tell you that we had a sophisticated setup, but we don't, quite frankly. I've had bad I did buy a Yeti microphone one time. They're like $100. You guys, and the Yeti microphone never worked right, personally.
Oh, he used that?
So Michael's got a suggestion.
No, this is really great. This is a Bluetooth speaker. So I have one actually right here that I use with my phone.
Oh.
And then this one, I just plug it into my computer through the earphone. And it's super easy to connect. And I think from my experience, you don't have to be straight on the computer. You can be, right now it's all the way across the desk. Can you hear me okay right now?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah. I got it on Amazon and I think here in the Philippines, it's also like 1,000, maybe 1,500 or something like that. But I liked it so much that I decided to buy 2 of them a second one, because it's really helpful. Much better than the computer speaker that you have.
What's the brand name, Michael?
JBL. JBL.
We'll see if I sign some more people up. My wife might let me buy one next month.
I just get the Clip 2. There's a Clip 3, but it's more expensive, and this one is just as good. It has.
All right. So just let us know if you guys have any other questions.
I think that a lot of people have wanted to not only have a dialogue or kind of a script, but I think that it would be really helpful to actually see a script in person. So maybe you guys have different scenarios and you use your team members as prospects, and then you like do a dialogue or role play of the scripts, and so we can see it in action.
Lynn and Dre will get right on that. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm sure that could be a totally interactive one. I'm sure everybody on the call has some sort of script for different you know, and maybe we could like go through the role play again a second or third time even, and have a different leader do their script on it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we touched on it for just one sentence. We said, are you open to something natural? But that's something we use in the script every single time. But we can show how that plays out, where that would fit in.
Do we know, does everybody know that you can find scripts in the launch guide? So there are scripts out there.
Yeah, we could go over a scripting class though. Okay. Wait, what's this? Do you use your personal
There's one more
social?
question, of course, at the end. That's a good one, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, personal or social accounts to advertise essential oils.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, we have a professional account, a Facebook page, and we also do it on our personal page, like our personal Facebook page. Because with a professional account, Facebook doesn't make it easy for people to see your posts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do it on a personal account, you have to be really strategic about how you infuse essential oils into the post, because Facebook will block your posts if you only advertise your business on there.
Yeah.
So the way that we look at it is doTERRA it's a part of who we are. It's a part of what we do every day. We use oils. Like, I can't even count how often we use oils every day. We use oils every hour at least, something from doTERRA. So it would be natural for us to share doTERRA. But if you're going to post on Facebook, you have to also post regular things too, like pictures of your kids, or a picture of you out on a walk, or a picture of you working out. And then you can throw your doTERRA post in like every other post or every 2 posts. So Facebook, if you're going to do it on your personal page, which will give you more results, I just want to be really clear here. Personal page will give you more results. People love to hide behind their business page, but then they're wondering why they're not getting results.
Yeah.
It's because nobody's seeing your posts. And then Instagram, I would do the same thing. I would keep it on my personal page.
Yeah, and even with your whatever God-given or family-given name, like Evan Esguerra would be the name that I put on my post, because I feel like when they would trust you more if it's actually your name, if you're not trying to hide behind a band or a screen name or whatever, right? So if that's just personal preference. So we like to invite people in.
There are, though, I have to say though, on Instagram, everybody very successful, they don't do it on their their real name is on their profile, but they have like a fun handle, like a fun profile name. So you can do what feels best for you in terms of that. But on Instagram, I think keeping it on your personal is good, but it's really up to you what you feel most comfortable with. It's just that with Facebook, it's become very clear over the past 2 years that you do not get good traction on your business page unless you're willing to pay for sponsored ads and things like that.
Okay, so and this question, Jenna Estella's, it just popped on, and I would hate to wait one whole month before I answer this question. We have a very basic content calendar. Like, we make the whole year's calendar, but I mean, we have broad things that we change all the time, but we'll say, okay, this month we're going to talk about immunity, right? We have this class, we have our main class that's the main one that we're going to draw everyone to. And then we have we might have like weekly posts or weekly classes, like leading up to that main one. But we usually aim a whole month at a single topic, right? And you're like, okay, I'll talk about Melaleuca, then I'll talk about On Guard, then I'll talk about Breathe, then I'll talk about even Digest, like all these things all point at immunity. And then the next month you might point it at like stress or anxiety or emotions, right? For one whole month. And that all content will be faced towards that. I mean, we get deeper into it, but yeah, I mean, that could be a whole another 1 hour, right? Talking all about content creation, but really basic. We like to aim at least 1 month of focus on something.
And even, if you're just getting started, commit to 3 posts a week. It doesn't have to be every day. I don't post every day, for sure. I don't. I try, but I don't. And so just, some level of consistency. And if you're just getting started, set the bar low. 3 posts per week. Make it easy on yourself. Don't let this be a source of stress. You want to enjoy it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.